At the Christmas dinner, mother-in-law, in front of all the relatives, linked arms, called her best daughter-in-law, dismissing me as worthless. I didn't make a scene. I just cut off her monthly $50K allowance the very next day. And changed the locks on the $200 million villa. Go live with your favorite daughter-in-law, Mom. Letters lost in time always find their echoes, however late. Welcome to the 13th month post office. Here, every emotion finds a listener. Every heartfelt letter is carefully preserved. I'm Suwon. I've been married into the Liu family for 3 years. 3 years, did my best for mother-in-law. The lakeside villa she lives in is my premarital asset. The $50K monthly allowance she gets without fail comes straight from my personal account. The entire Liu family, including my husband, Liu Mingzhi, seems to have gotten used to it all, even taking it for granted. Christmas Eve at the Liu family mansion was ablaze with light. White lace table, silver candlesticks flickering. I sat beside Liu Mingzhi. He was distractedly chatting with his cousin about some investment. The seat to my right was empty. It used to be Chunwani's spot. Dressed in a brand new cherry red cashmere dress. It made her skin look pale and delicate. Song Yuqin sat at the head of the table. In a dark purple velvet cheongsam, her hair perfectly coiffed. On her left was father-in-law. On her right, pressed right up against her, was Chunwani. The atmosphere was initially quite lively, until mother-in-law affectionately linked arms with Chunwani. Her voice was just loud enough for the whole table to hear. If you ask me, Wani is the most thoughtful. Patting the back of Chunwani's hand, her gaze swept over me. My back acted up. Wani dropped everything. Came straight over to give me a massage and brew my medicine. Stayed at hospital for hours. So considerate. Aunts praised sister-in-law's filial piety. Chunwani blushed slightly. Her voice soft, Mom, please don't say that. It's what I should do. Sister Wanwan is usually busy too. Busy? Mother-in-law's smile didn't reach her eyes. What she's busy with, I wouldn't know. Always tinkering with that studio of hers. Or hanging out with all sorts of questionable friends. If counting on her, I'd be dead before she came. The table fell silent. The sizzle of the roast on the spit became deafeningly loud. Several pairs of eyes land on me, filled with pity and curiosity. Spectators eagerly await a show. Liu Mingzhi finally seems to notice the commotion. He frowns but stays silent. My fingers tighten around the silver dinner fork. My knuckles turn white, but my face betrays nothing. The tines of the fork glide silently across the porcelain plate. I even lift my gaze toward mother-in-law. I offer her a perfectly calm, serene smile. I say absolutely nothing. She feels like punching a pillow, futile. She pulls Chunwani closer. Choose a virtuous wife. In the Liu family, Wani is a caring daughter-in-law. She actually keeps this old woman in her heart. Not like some people, all flashy and showy. They're experts at spending money recklessly. But when it comes to real matters, utterly useless. Mom, it's a holiday. Why now? His tone is flat, dry, trying to smooth things over. Can't I speak the truth? She then turns a much more affectionate gaze toward Chunwani. Wani, dear, you're the only one Mom recognizes. In the future, all of Mom's good things will be saved for you. Chunwani puts on a show of being overwhelmed with undeserved favor. She demurs, her husband grins. Clearly, he's very pleased with himself. I slowly begin cutting. The slice of turkey on my plate is already cold. I cut it into perfectly uniform, thin strips. The chatter around the table gradually resumes. As if that little trial aimed solely at me never even happened. But those lingering glances. Hushed talks and muffled snickers. They prick at my skin like countless tiny needles. No blood is drawn, but the ache is dense and constant. Especially that line about being all flashy and showy. Experts at spending money recklessly. Does she know his business struggles? Does she know who supports this house? Including his unwavering $50,000 monthly allowance? The jade bracelet on her wrist? The gold necklace around her neck? Even this luxurious villa she lives in so comfortably. The one she loves to boast about to her circle of old lady friends? Who does she think is footing the bill? Of course she knows. She's used to it, it's all the Liu families. That her son is simply entitled to it all. And me? I'm just the lucky one who managed to climb the social ladder. His son deserves it. I just got lucky and married up. But I was always just an accessory he never truly saw. He needed to put me down to lift himself up. Handpick a docile daughter-in-law for his eldest son. To solidify his own iron-fisted authority in this household. My heart pounded heavily in my chest. At first, it was cold, as if soaked in icy water. Then, it began to burn. The fury didn't rush to my head. Instead, it sank to the very bottom of my heart, condensing into a hard, pitch-black resolve. I didn't look at Lu Mingzhi. I knew exactly what his attitude would be right now. He probably thinks his mom is just all bark, no real bite. That if I just endure it, it'll all blow over. Hasn't that been the case every single time before? But this time... Looking at mother-in-law's smug face, mistaking cruelty for bluntness. Looking at Chenwani, barely containing her glee. Pretending to be humble. Looking at this whole room. Of well-dressed relatives, each with their own hidden agendas. I suddenly didn't want to let it blow over. I put the last piece of turkey in my mouth. Chewed slowly, swallowed. Then, I picked up my wine glass. I raised it toward mother-in-law with a polite smile. She was taken aback. Probably didn't expect this move from me. She instinctively picked up her own glass. I threw my head back and drained the deep red liquid in one go. It burned a path down my throat, bitter, mostly scorching. The heat spread from my stomach, as if igniting that icy, hard lump of fury in my heart, burning it into a clear, cold determination. Fine. You think the eldest daughter-in-law is best. Then you, mother-in-law, can go live with your precious favorite. But the things that belong to me, Suwan, you'll have to return them, one by one, starting tomorrow. The next morning when I woke, the other side of the bed was empty. Lu Mingzhi had probably left early for the office again. Good, saves us an awkward face-to-face, and spares me his likely excuses for his mother. Sunlight squeezed through the gap in the heavy curtains, slicing a bright white line across the floor. I didn't linger. Got up, washed up. The woman in the mirror had faint dark circles. But her eyes were calm. I splashed cold water on my face. The last traces of drowsiness vanished without a trace. Changed into comfortable loungewear. I skipped the dining room. Went to the sunny, second-floor study. I sat at the large desk and opened my laptop. The desktop was clean. A few essential work folders. And one very prominent icon with a bank logo. I clicked it. Logged in. Entered the password. Passed the fingerprint verification, too. The main page popped up, showing the balances of a few accounts. The numbers were a bit staggering. I kept a straight face. Went straight for that monthly transfer record. Same time, same amount, every single month. Payee name, Song Yuqin. Amount, 50,000 renminbi. Memo, allowance. This record, it started 3 years ago. Right after I first handed over the management of that villa to him. Like clockwork. The 5th of every month. Never missed a beat. Like a brand burned into the calendar. Today isn't the 5th. It's December 26th. But for me, today is the day it all ends. I moved the cursor over that automatic transfer agreement. Right-clicked. Selected, cancel. A confirmation box popped up. Are you sure you want to cancel this recurring transfer agreement? I didn't hesitate for a second. Clicked, confirm. Almost instantly, my phone buzzed softly. A text from the bank. Recurring transfer to account ending in cancelled. XXX. Alright. Step 1, complete. Clean and quick. Less than 2 minutes. Closed the banking page. Opened WeChat. Found a contact saved as Property Manager Lu. My fingers flew across the keyboard, typing fast. Morning, Manager Lu. Need you to arrange something now. The lakeside villa my mother is currently residing in. Change all locks today, front, side, basement, everything. Replace them all with brand new grade C lock cylinders. If only one key is made for now. Deliver it directly to my company assistant, Xiao Zhang. Yes, I want it changed today. Before the locksmith arrives. If anyone is home, say it's a routine safety inspection. Old locks need replacing. Got it? Manager Lu instantly replied, I got it. Followed by another line, don't worry, Miss Su. I'll arrange the best locksmith and supervise. It should all be finished before 3 p.m. How should I get the keys to you? Notify me as soon as it's done. Keep the keys at your place. I'll have Mr. Lu pick them up later. I replied, telling Lu Mingzhi to go get them. Of course not, that's just an excuse. I just need to make sure. Before I make my next move, mother-in-law won't suddenly find herself locked out and run to Lu Mingzhi ahead of time. He'll find out eventually, but the timing is in my hands. After handling that, I leaned back in my chair, picked up the now lukewarm coffee, and took a sip. The bitter taste spread on my tongue, making my mind even clearer. I could imagine mother-in-law's expression. She'll be confused when her allowance is late. Then impatience, and finally, probably a furious phone call demanding an explanation. And that villa, the fortress she always considered her own kingdom. When she discovers she can't even get through the door. A light knock sounded on the study door. Aunt Wu's voice came from outside. Ma'am, breakfast is ready. Eat downstairs or bring it up? Bring it up. Aunt Wu, I responded. Aunt Wu is an old hand in the household. Steady, reliable, and doesn't talk much. She only takes my pay. Breakfast was simple. Milk oatmeal porridge and a fried egg. I ate unhurriedly. My phone resting right beside me. Sure enough, close to noon, my phone rang. The name flashing on the screen, mother-in-law. I stared at those two characters for a few seconds, letting it ring almost to the end before leisurely swiping to answer. Even casually tapping the speakerphone button. Su-wan. Mother-in-law's voice was shrill, carrying undisguised anger and her usual commanding tone. What's going on with you? Why hasn't this month's allowance been transferred yet? What day is it already? Do you even remember you have a mother? Do I really have to call and remind you every time? I finished my porridge and dabbed my mouth. My voice was calm, without a single ripple. Mom, don't get upset. At yesterday's dinner, you told the relatives. Chenwani's the best daughter-in-law, right? You adore her so much, you think she's perfect. I figured, with her taking care of you from now on, you'd be much happier and more satisfied. I'm all thumbs, clumsy. And I only know how to waste money. I'd mess up looking after you. So your allowance. And everything concerning where you live and what you use. Sister-in-law should handle it. Suits your tastes. I'll stay out of it. Wouldn't want to upset you. Dead silence on the other end of the line. I could hear mother-in-law's breathing suddenly become heavy. And in the background, maybe, the faint sound of a TV show. She clearly never expected this kind of reaction from me. That I'd say something like this. In her usual script. Right now I should either be groveling with apologies, saying I'll transfer the money immediately, or whining with excuses. She scolded me even harsher. What do you mean? Several seconds later, mother-in-law choked out words, throat squeezed. Voice shrill, trembling. Suwon, lost your mind? Are you threatening me with this? That money was promised to me by Mingzhi. That house too. Mom, I cut her off, my tone still calm, but with an undeniable edge. What Lu Mingzhi promised you. You go collect from him. But the money transferred from my account. The house under my name, how that's handled is my decision. Everyone heard what you said yesterday. I'm just following your wishes, letting the best daughter-in-law take on the responsibility of caring for you. Isn't that right? Sputtering, incoherent with rage. Wanted to curse, but couldn't find the right words for a moment. Or maybe, deep down, there was still a shred of fear about that money and that villa. I have things to do here. So I'm hanging up now, Mom. If you need money urgently, or have any new ideas about where to live, you can call sister-in-law or big brother. I'm sure they'd be delighted to help you. I didn't wait for her to start screaming. I hung up. Flicked my finger, dragged that number to block list. Peace and quiet. I placed the phone face down on the table. Picked up the now ice-cold coffee, and downed it in one go. The cold liquid slid into my stomach. Yet, strangely, it made the fire burning in my chest clearer. Hotter. I know this is just the beginning. Mother-in-law won't let this go. Lu Mingjie will come knocking soon. And Chenwani and Lu Mingyuan. They're about to get a little surprise, too. But I'm not afraid. I'm almost looking forward to seeing their next move. The board is set. I've made my opening move. Now, it's their turn. I stood up and walked to the window. Sunlight flooded in. It instantly filled the whole room. A little blinding. I squinted, looking out at the garden under the winter sun. It looked strangely solemn. This is just the beginning, you know. My dear mother-in-law, you better get ready to enjoy the tender loving care of your favorite daughter-in-law. Just past 2 p.m., my phone screen lit up. A WeChat message from property manager Lu. Miss Su, all lock cores have been replaced. Tested and functional. Old locks and keys have been collected. One new key is being held at my office per your instructions. The technicians have left. Area is cleaned up. I replied with a simple received. My finger hovered for a moment on the cool screen. Then, I tapped on another contact. Captain Chen from Speedy Movers. An old hand I've worked with many times. Efficient and discreet. He answered quickly, his voice hearty. Ms. Su. What do you need? I need you and 2 reliable men for an urgent job this afternoon. My voice was low, but every word was clear. I'll send the address. The last house by the lake. The task is simple. In the master bedroom walk-in closet. Pack up everything belonging to a woman in her 60s. Clothes, shoes, bags, jewelry. Excluding anything obviously high value. Kept in a separate safe. Also, her personal items from the study. Photo albums, her medicine box, some trinkets. Pack it all. Pack anything of hers in the common areas too. Don't touch the furniture, appliances, or bedding. Once packed, deliver it to another address. I gave him the address and unit number of that mid-tier apartment complex, where Chenwani and Lu Mingyuan live. There was a brief silence on Captain Chen's end. He was clearly processing this unusual request. He just confirmed, understood, Miss Su. Only pack specified personal items and deliver to new address. Need a detailed inventory or photos on site? No list. Record the whole process on video, to avoid future disputes. Send the footage to my private email. I added. Also, if someone is at the villa when you arrive, tell them you're hired by the owner. For post-holiday deep cleaning and item organization. Try to get their cooperation for packing. If they're uncooperative or ask too many questions, just say you're following the contract and don't know the details. Tell him to contact the homeowner directly. Got it? We should be able to start the job over there in about half an hour. Old Chen agreed quickly. After it's moved, just leave the stuff right at their doorstep. If someone's home, there's no need for a handover or signature. If nobody's there, just stack it neatly and send me a photo. I'll pay triple. Thanks for rushing. I concluded and hung up. I walked to the living room window. On this winter afternoon, the sunlight seemed rather feeble, casting a pale glow over the garden. I could picture the scene at the lakeside villa. Mother-in-law was probably fuming about the allowance. Trying to call me over and over, of course getting no answer. Or she was on the phone with Lu Mingjie, Lu Mingyuan, even Chenwani, complaining and cursing up a storm. Then the doorbell would ring. A few movers in uniform, burly and professional, would appear at the door. Armed with boxes, packing supplies, and recording equipment. What expression would he have? Shock? Disbelief? Or would he try to put on that master of the house act and block them? But I gave old Chen and his team specific instructions. They'd be polite, firm, all business. That detached attitude was the best way to dismantle his rage. He couldn't stop them. He could only stand there and watch helplessly as those men efficiently and swiftly packed up all his expensive cashmere sweaters, silk cheongsams, designer handbags, and the precious jewelry he loved to flaunt to her friends. Item by item, cleared from his space, sealed into boxes. The whole process wouldn't take long. Old Chen's crew were pros. I brewed myself a pot of black tea, sat on the sofa, sipped slowly. The liquor was a clear amber, its aroma mellow. Time ticked by. Outside, the sky turned gray. It was around 4:30 p.m. My phone vibrated with 2 new emails. One was from Old Chen, video clips of the packing process. I skimmed through a few key parts on fast forward. In the footage, mother-in-law's face was white with fury. She tried to block them but was politely held back by the workers. Finally, she seemed to be making a frantic phone call. The other email had photos, stacked cardboard boxes, piled in front of what looked like a somewhat worn apartment building security door. It was right at Chenwani's doorstep. In the photos, the door was shut, almost as I received them. My personal phone rang. This time, it wasn't mother-in-law. It was a local number I didn't recognize. My guess? Chenwani or Lu Mingyuan. I let it ring a few times before answering. Hello? My voice betrayed absolutely nothing. Suwan, have you completely lost your mind? It's definitely Chenwani's voice. Gone is the usual forced gentleness and softness. It's sharp, frantic, and a little breathless, as if she's just been through some chaos. Why dump mom's things at my door? What is this supposed to mean? There are so many boxes, you can't even get through the hallway. And mom just called me crying, saying you cut off her allowance and locked her out of the villa. What exactly are you trying to pull? I blew on my tea, though it had no foam. My tone was flat. Don't get so worked up, sister-in-law. Didn't mom make it perfectly clear in front of everyone yesterday? Crystal clear. She said you are the best daughter-in-law. She adores and relies on you the most. It's only right that a useless daughter-in-law like me steps aside, leaving mom's care entirely to your honor. Her allowance should naturally be your responsibility from now on. After all, you're the one she truly considers family. The villa is my premarital asset. Mom was just staying there. Now that she's happier living with you. What's wrong with me taking back my own property? As for her things, I gave it some careful thought. It didn't seem right for them to stay in my villa. They should go to the daughter-in-law she trusts most. Returning things where they're most appreciated, right? That's pure sophistry. This is revenge. Chenwani's voice cracked with fury. Mom was just venting. You can't take that seriously. And do something this heartless. What is mom supposed to do now? How are we supposed to face anyone? What will all the relatives say when they find out? I raised an eyebrow, though she couldn't see. Holding your arm in front of all those relatives. Praising you to the skies word for word, saying I'm worthless. That's not just venting. Don't take mom's feelings lightly. As for what the relatives will say. I paused, letting a clear chill seep into my voice. Didn't they all hear it yesterday? They'll probably just think mom finally got her wish. Reunited with her favorite daughter-in-law. It's a happy occasion. You two enjoy your precious family time. Oh, and some of the things in those boxes are quite delicate. Don't leave them in the hall. Move them in and sort them out. I have things to do here. Goodbye. Wait, Suwan, you can't. Chenwani's frantic shout was cleanly cut off by me hanging up. On the other end of the line, I dragged that number back into the blacklist and put down my phone. I sank back into the soft cushions of the sofa, letting out a long, slow sigh. That foul feeling trapped in my chest seemed to have been expelled, just a little, by that conversation. Outside, the sky darkened, city lights glowing. The hazy glow of distant neon filtered through the glass, casting blurred patches of color on the living room floor. I could picture Chenwani's situation right now. Several large cardboard boxes blocking the doorway, filled with her mother-in-law's accumulated goods. Trying to cram it all into his less than 100 square meter apartment. It was just about spacious enough for the two of them. But suddenly shoving in a mother-in-law and all this junk? Crowding's inevitable. Hallway storage. Brings complaints, HOA, loss of face. Worse. The old lady panics, no place to stay. No more allowance. Her only lifeline is her favorite daughter-in-law. Chunwani's line about where do we put our faces? Was perfect. Now she and Lu Mingyuan. Placed in this spot by their mother. And as for mother-in-law. From a luxurious villa with maid service. To cramming into their cramped apartment. From a monthly 50,000 to spend as she pleases. To maybe having to ask her daughter-in-law for grocery money. A reality check she'll savor. Tea gone cold. I sipped anyway. Cold liquid down my throat. Had a strangely sobering clarity to it. Lu Mingzhi should be back soon. Mother-in-law and Chunwani must have already bombarded him with their desperate calls. I'm actually a little curious. What will my dear husband's reaction be this time? Will he urge think of family, endure it? Or will he finally start to see how his mother and brother's wife have taken every inch I gave, as their due, and trampled every sacrifice I made underfoot? I stood up, walked to the wine cabinet, and selected a bottle of red. Poured myself a small glass. The deep crimson liquid swirled gently in the crystal glass. Catching the soft light from above, night had fallen. The second act of this little drama is just beginning. I'm waiting. The rich aroma of the wine still lingered on my tongue. When the beep of the fingerprint lock sounded from the door, followed by heavy, deliberate footsteps, Lu Mingzhi was home. Much earlier than usual. I remained seated on the sofa, glass in hand. He stormed in, furious. Brow furrowed, lips a thin hard line. His suit jacket was slung carelessly over his arm, his tie loosened. Looks like this afternoon. He's been fielding a lot of calls and under a lot of pressure. He stopped right in front of me. He didn't do his usual routine of putting his things down or changing first. He just stood there. His gaze was heavy, fixed on me. When he spoke, it was a question laced with suppressed rage. Suwan, what the hell are you playing at? Mom and sister-in-law have been blowing up my phone nonstop. It's practically ringing off the hook. You cut Mom's allowance, changed the locks, and dumped all her stuff on sister-in-law's doorstep. Don't you think you're going too far? I set my glass down with a soft click. I looked up at him, my tone unnervingly calm. Lu Mingzhi, you were there at the dinner last night. You heard every single word Mom said. Right in front of all our relatives. Calling her the best, hanging on her arm. While making me out to be worthless. Why didn't you think she was going too far then? Lu Mingzhi faltered. Discomfort flickered, then irritation. Mom, she just says things. She's old, she's blunt. Why do you have to take it so personally? We've gotten along like this for years, haven't we? Why stir up trouble all of a sudden? Where does that leave her dignity? Now sister-in-law's household is in chaos too. Are you deliberately trying to turn the whole family upside down? Dignity. I almost let out a cold laugh, but I held it back. My eyes just turned colder. Her dignity matters. Lu Mingzhi, but I am your wife. I am not some accessory the Lu family can trample all over, and still expect a smile in return. We got along because I tolerated it. But I'm done tolerating. Since she was so sure sister-in-law is the best, I'm simply granting her wish. Let her live with her best daughter-in-law. What's wrong with that? Unless, what she said wasn't true. Or is it that people in the Lu family can just say whatever they want on a whim, then forget it? While everyone else is supposed to take it as gospel and obey? Lu Mingzhi was left speechless by my barrage of questions. He tugged his tie, pacing angrily. Even if what Mom said was wrong, you didn't have to go to such extremes. You cut off Mom's allowance and locked the villa? Where is she supposed to live now? You'd let an old lady drag her into your tiny apartment? What will people think? What should she do? I stood up, faced him, and looked him in the eye. She has 2 sons. A daughter-in-law she herself declared was the best. Are you saying the Liu family can't survive without my money and house? Can't afford to support one old lady? Can't find a place for a mother? Lu Mingzhi, don't you forget. That 50,000 monthly allowance? It came from my personal account. That lakeside villa? The deed has my name, Suwan, on it. That was my premarital asset. My giving it was a kindness. My taking it back is my right. As for where she lives. I paused, pulling a cold, humorless smile. You and sister-in-law are both so concerned about Mom. You can rent a place for her. You can have her move in with you. You could even buy her a new house. If you wanted to. And if you have the means. How is it that without my support, you're suddenly helpless? What made you think in the first place that you could just trample all over my goodwill and effort? Lu Mingzhi's face flushed red, then pale. He probably never heard me lay out the accounts so clearly, so calmly, and so damn confrontationally. Before, when it came to money and property, I never cared much. Thought family shouldn't keep such a strict tally. Turns out, my indifference only fed their sense of entitlement. Suwan, that's not what I meant. His tone softened a little, trying to be reasonable. I know the money and the house are yours. But Mom is still my mom. She's our elder. As the younger generation, sometimes it's better to back down for peace. Why be so tense? Think of the gossip. Do it for me. For this family. Please, stop making a scene, okay? Just reactivate Mom's card, give me the villa key. I'll talk to her. Make her apologize to you. Then we can put this behind us. We can be a harmonious family again. For her, for us. Harmonious. I saw his familiar look, wanting to smooth things over. Even a hint of pleading. The last feeling in my heart finally stilled. He still doesn't get it. Or maybe he just doesn't want to get where the real problem lies. All he wants is to quell the storm, restore the surface calm. As for how much hurt I've suffered inside, how my dignity has been stomped on, that doesn't matter. It can all be covered up with a for the sake of the family. Lu Mingzhi, I slowly shook my head, my voice quiet, but unusually firm. It's not going behind us. From the moment he said those things yesterday, and from the moment you tacitly allowed that scene to happen, it was over. I don't need your apology. I just need to take back what's rightfully mine. And get away from people and things that aren't worth my time. Mom's allowance is over. I'll be dealing with the villa. Mom's living situation is your problem to figure out. It's none of my business. Suwan, do you have to be this heartless? Lu Mingzhi's patience seems to have run out. His voice rises again, laced with anger. That's my mother, the woman who gave birth to me and raised me. Can't you just do this for me? For my sake? Your sake? I cut him off, finally letting that cold laugh escape my lips. Lu Mingzhi, your sake? What's that worth in front of your mother and your precious relatives? When he was tearing me down yesterday, did you save any face for me? Did you stand up and say a single word in my defense? No. You chose silence. You chose to let the whole family have a laugh at my expense. So now, you respect my choice. I stopped looking at him, his face a mix of shock, rage, and disbelief, and turned towards the stairs. After a few steps, I pause. I don't look back. Forgot to mention that. Your mother and sister-in-law, Chenwani, couldn't get through to me, so they started calling from different numbers. It's harassment. I've already informed my lawyer and started gathering evidence. If the harassment continues, I will not hesitate to take legal action to protect myself. You'd better warn them. I don't wait to see whatever reaction Lu Mingzhi might have behind me. I head straight upstairs to the master bedroom, locking the door behind me and leaning against its cool surface. I can hear Lu Mingzhi downstairs, his voice a suppressed, guttural growl, followed by the dull thud of something being thrown. But the sounds feel like they're coming through thick glass. Muffled and distant. I walk to the vanity and sit down. The woman in the mirror looks pale, but her eyes are bright, like tempered glass. That hard, heavy lump in my chest, after that confrontation just now. It seems to have loosened a little. In its place is a cold, clear clarity I've never felt before. Heartless? I'm just taking back what I shouldn't have given. Since you all mistook my kindness for weakness, I'll show you not to mess with me. I pick up my phone. There are a few unread WeChat messages from a couple of close girlfriends who know a bit about my family situation. They must have heard the rumors, asking questions and offering sympathy. I didn't bother reading them in detail. Just sent a blanket reply, I'm fine, handling things. Talk later. Then I tapped into my phone's voice memo list. There was a file, its creation timestamp was clearly dated yesterday, Christmas Eve dinner. The file name was simple, 1225. My finger hovered over the play button for a moment. I didn't press it in the end. I practically have the whole thing memorized anyway. Mother-in-law's shrill voice cuts through. All those mocking laughs. Not the time to play it yet. It's one of my trump cards. Gotta save it for the right moment. Outside, the night had deepened to ink black. Yet the city lights only burned brighter. This war, sparked by a single Christmas dinner. The first direct confrontation is over. My clear stance has drawn the line. Now the pressure shifts entirely onto Lu Mingzhi, Lu Mingyuan, and Chen Wani. Where to dump her, the lifestyle drop, relatives gossip. That should keep them busy for a while. I need to plan my next move. The villa's empty now. Sell it? Or gut it and start over? That monthly 50k allowance is mine to keep now. Maybe funnel it into expanding my studio. And then there's my relationship with Lu Mingzhi. After all this, it seems that needs a serious reevaluation too. But right now, I don't feel panicked or sad. Instead, relief, like a weight lifted. Turns out, saying no and fighting back isn't as hard as I thought. Especially when you hold all the cards, heart turned to stone. I got up and walked into the bathroom, turning on the shower. Warm water cascaded down, washing away the last traces of exhaustion and chill. Steam slowly fogged the mirror, blurring my reflection. Blurring all those memories of bending over backwards to please. I slept surprisingly soundly that night. Didn't even dream. Lu Mingzhi didn't come back to the master bedroom. No noise from the guest room either. Probably lying awake all night. Or maybe he just left. None of that is my problem anymore. The next morning, I was woken by my phone buzzing. Not a call. The rapid ping-ping-ping of WeChat messages. One after another, urgent. I fumbled for the phone. Squinting. Messages from Glam Squad, no men allowed. A small chat with a few close girlfriends I usually hang with. All from similar backgrounds, similar life experience. The first one blowing up the chat was Zhou Min. She's the bluntest. Her messages were direct. What's going on, Suwan? Aunt told Mom your Christmas dinner was a show. Your mother-in-law staged a whole pageant to pick a new favorite. They said she dragged you through the mud in front of everyone. And praised that Chenwani like she was some angel. Is that for real? Then Li Wei, who's more observant, chimed in. I've heard some whispers too. Suwan, are you okay? If you need the sisterhood, just say the word. Then Zhao Qian jumped in. Her family has some overlap with my mother-in-law's social circle. Oh, it gets better. The latest gossip is mother-in-law's living in luxury with her favorite. The lakeside villa has a new mistress. Suwan, that's some bold move. Well played. Thumbs up emoji. I watched the messages fly across my screen. Any sleepiness vanished, and a smirk tugged at my lips. No secret stays buried here, especially juicy ones. Dramatic family dirt. It spreads faster than a virus. Good. Saves me the trouble of explaining. I sat up, leaned against the headboard, and typed. You're well informed. True, but not exactly luxury. More like, everything's back where it belongs. I have peace. The group chat exploded the second I sent that. Zhou Min, oh my god, it is true. Wasn't that hag living off your money, in your house? And causing drama 24/7? It's about time someone put her in her place. Suwan, you were always too nice. Li Wei, Suwan. You and Lu Mingzhi didn't get into a fight, did you? What's his stance on all this?
Jiaqian, peace is good. Cutting ties is a blessing.
But Suwan, I heard. Things are getting heated at your brother and sister-in-law's place. My mom said they had a huge fight last night. Chenwani stormed out this morning with a face like thunder. Didn't even acknowledge the neighbors. Your mother-in-law probably isn't in her cozy nest with her favorite yet. Reading that, my eyes flickered. Just as I expected. I replied to Zhao Qian, oh really?
They'll have time to bond. Mother-daughter love runs deep.
Zhoumin sent a string of laughing emojis.
Suwan, that's savage. I love it. Oh, by the way,
now that your villa's empty, what are your plans? Should the girls come over for a housewarming?
Celebrate you escaping? Thought about it. Housewarming can wait.
I'm planning a full renovation. Changing the entire style. I'll definitely invite you all when it's done.
For now, let them enjoy their little soap opera for a few more days.
I chatted a bit more with the girls. Chatted a bit more with my girlfriends. With their comfort and support, I finally put my phone down. The tiny ripples of unease from Lumingzhi's attitude last night completely subsided. Faced with my friends' backing and the drama about to unfold, I felt calm. I'm not alone in this. Got up, washed up, had breakfast. Auntie Wu quietly set out the dishes, a hint of worry in her eyes. But she didn't ask. I gave her a smile, a silent I'm okay. The house felt quieter now, emptier. But the air itself seemed lighter, cleaner. That suffocating, invisible tension was finally gone. Went to the studio in the morning. Year-end rush, lots to do. I forced myself to focus on the design drafts and client calls. For now, I shut out all that Lu family nonsense. Surprisingly, my productivity soared. During my lunch break, I scrolled through my feed. And there it was. A post from Chenwani. No picture. Just a caption.
Send to friends accept. Visibility. Classic.
A friend of mine is friends with her, so I could see it. It read, sometimes it just feels so exhausting. Life's little messes pile up. So much new burden, it's overwhelming. You long for understanding, but all you get are more demands. Is it too much to ask for a little peace and quiet of your own? Sigh. Sighing emoji. A few mutual friends had commented, some comforting her,
others asking what's wrong. Chenwani replied to them all the same, it's nothing, really.
Just some family stuff. Thanks for caring. Looking at this post dripping with implication and self-pity. This tires you? This is your burden? It's only day one, my dearest, most wonderful sister-in-law. Decades of your mother-in-law's doting independency. You better hold on to that tight and digest it well. I didn't like it.
Didn't comment. Couldn't even be bothered to screenshot.
This level of whining is too mild. Nowhere near enough. In the afternoon, I got a call from property manager Lu. He sounded cautious. Mrs. Su, that Mr. Lu, your husband.
He came to the management office this morning.
Wanted the new keys to the lakeside villa. I did as you instructed earlier.
Said the keys were your personal property, important items.
We couldn't hand them over without your direct okay. He left unhappy. You did right. Thank you, Manager Lu.
From now on, regarding anything to do with that property,
no action without my direct order or written authorization. No one has the authority to handle it, not even my husband. Thank you. Of course, President Su. I just spoke with Manager Lu. And my phone rings again. This time, it's a completely unfamiliar local landline number. I raise an eyebrow, already guessing. Sure enough. Mother-in-law Song Yuqin's voice comes through. Gone is yesterday's shrillness, a deliberately slowed tone. Yet it can't hide the weariness and resentment underneath. Wan Wan. She calls out, then pauses. As if figuring out how to begin. It's Mom. I'm calling from the convenience store phone downstairs. You've blocked my number. I stay silent.
Waiting for her to continue. She probably finds the silence awkward.
Clears her throat, and goes on. Wan Wan. Yesterday, Mom was wrong. I have a quick temper. Don't take it to heart. We're family, after all. We shouldn't let a spat fester overnight. She's backing down. Chinwani's little cozy apartment made its point, and fast. Mom knows the villa is yours. And the allowance comes from your hard work. Mom was a bit confused before. But deep down, I do care for you. Look, it's freezing. And with my old bones. Staying at your brother's is inconvenient. Their place is small. And Wani is so busy with work. I don't even have anyone to talk to. Wan. How about you let Mom move back to the lakeside villa? I promise I'll watch my tongue from now on. Can we try to get along? She sounds sincere. Pleading. The old me might have softened and agreed. But the me now, listening to this spiel, just finds it hypocritical and laughable. This isn't an apology born of realizing her mistakes. She can't stand the cramped quarters, the downgrade. So she comes begging. Mom, I start, my voice flat and even. You said being with sister-in-law was most comforting. No matter how small my brother's place is, it's their own home. You're there to enjoy your golden years. How inconvenient. Besides, I'm just a frivolous spender now, good for nothing. Probably wouldn't take good care of you anyway. Might just upset you again. Stay peacefully with my brother and sister-in-law. They're the capable son and daughter-in-law you hold dear. The villa, renovation plans. Uninhabitable for a while. And not suitable for hosting you. Wan, don't be like this. Mother-in-law's voice turns urgent again, tinged with a sob. Mom admits she was wrong, okay? That villa is so big. You do your renovations. Just leave a room for Mom. I won't be a bother. Your brother's place is impossible. What if he didn't even make me a proper breakfast this morning? My face was probably as sour as could be. I cut off the pity party before it could really get started. Give her time to adjust. Be understanding. Help her out more. You are the elder, and you adore her so much. Alright, I have work to do. Take care of yourself. With that, I hung up the payphone without a second thought. Blocking the number? Pointless. She'd just find another phone to call from. But my stance had to be crystal clear. I set my phone down. I walked to the window of my office. Watching the endless stream of traffic on the street below. The winter afternoon sun was pale, offering no warmth. Mother-in-law's groveling and begging was exactly what I expected. But this is just the beginning. The real pressure hasn't even fully hit them yet. Over at Lumingjer's side. Lu Mingyuan and Chinwani's side. Especially Chinwani. That social media post of hers was just a play for public sympathy. Playing victim to bait me. Or get Lumingjer to put pressure on me. Too bad her little scheme backfired. I'm not feeling an ounce of pity. I'm going to make this whole messy situation explode even bigger. I went back to my desk and turned on my computer. Pulled up a document. A copy of a simple marital agreement. One Lumingjer and I signed earlier this year on our lawyer's advice. We didn't think much of it at the time, but it clearly outlines the scope of our respective premarital assets. The copy of the deed for the lakeside villa was right here too, plus my account transfer records to mother-in-law's account over the past several years. All of this might come in handy very soon, given how the Lu family relatives operate. And with mother-in-law and Chinwani's refusal to let this go, the family mediation farce is next. I organized all the documents, placed them in a separate folder and labeled it, then got back to my actual work. Strangely, I was feeling almost anticipatory. The calm lasted for maybe 2 or 3 days. Things at the studio were finally settling down. So I started seriously contacting designers, discussing plans for the complete renovation of the lakeside villa. The style needs a total overhaul. All those gaudy European-style carvings mother-in-law loves. The heavy rosewood furniture, all of it has to go. I'm leaning towards a modern, minimalist look. I prefer modern minimalism. Spacious, clean, floor-to-ceiling windows, warm wood. You breathe easier the moment you step inside. Pure relaxation. How's Mom mentioned cautiously. The master has been coming home very late these past few days. Sometimes, he smells of liquor. I'd just nod to show I'd heard. I never pressed for details. Lu Mingjer stopped trying to discuss his mother with me. Probably still mad, or thinking I needed time to cool off. He probably still doesn't get it. This isn't a tantrum. It's a final decision. That afternoon, just as the designer and I were finalizing the floor plan layout, my phone started buzzing like crazy. Not a call. The sound of WeChat notifications. From that Lu family group chat I'd almost completely muted. Besides the immediate Lu family, it had some of the closer cousins and relatives. Usually just forwards about health tips, holiday wishes, or bragging about grandkids. I rarely looked, even less posted. But now it was like a pot of water suddenly boiling over. Messages popping up one after another. I opened it. At the top was a long message from Chinwani. Attached were several photos. The photos showed a somewhat cluttered. A few suitcases his mother brought. Open, clothes spilling out. A tiny guest bedroom. Bed jammed against wardrobe, no room to turn. Another one of the kitchen counter, piled with unwashed dishes. Chinwani's accompanying text was long. The tone was one of strained restraint. Yet it still oozed with this thick sense of grievance. Family ugliness shouldn't be aired. But I just don't know what to do anymore, my heart is so heavy. I need to talk to you all. Ever since Mom moved in with us, we're trying our best to take care of her. But our place is small, only 2 bedrooms. To make sure Mom is comfortable, we gave her our master bedroom. We're squeezing into the guest room. Mingyuan and I both work, leaving early, coming back late. Maybe sometimes we unintentionally neglect Mom. She's getting older. Her habits differ from ours. Sometimes we speak or act. It might upset her. I know I should be more patient, more considerate. But work has been so stressful lately, I come home truly exhausted. Maybe my face looks tired, and Mom misunderstood. This morning, Mom said we look down on her. That we can't wait for her to leave. Hearing that broke my heart. I never, ever meant that. Mom, Wang Sholan, if I displease you, tell me directly. I'll change. We want your golden years peaceful. A family should be harmonious. Crying emoji. The group went dead silent for a few seconds, then exploded. Second aunt, oh dear, Wani's been put through the ringer. Caring for the elderly is tough in such cramped quarters. Sister-in-law, Chinwani, you should cut the kids some slack. They're exhausted from work. Aunt, exactly. Wani's always been so dutiful and understanding. There must just be some misunderstanding. Sholan, the girl's got a good heart. She even gave you the master bedroom. You should be grateful, dear. Cousin, looking at the photos, it does seem cramped. Wani and Mingyuan have it tough. But as long as the family airs things out, it'll be fine. Lu Mingyuan, you should mediate more. Lu Mingyuan surfaced after a while. He sent a heart emoji and then said, Mom. Wani really is trying her best. Don't overthink it. I stared at the screen, at all this well-meaning or fake consolation. My heart was a flat line. I almost wanted to laugh. Chenwani's strategic retreat move. Playing the victim while subtly hinting mother-in-law is a handful. Trying to shift the blame and public opinion onto the old lady. She's a pro at whitewashing herself. Sure enough, mother-in-law Wang Sholan couldn't hold back anymore. Seeing those messages, especially the photos and the insinuations, she was difficult. She blew her top. She was probably replying using Lu Mingyuan's or Chenwani's phone. Typing furiously, every word dripping with rage. Chenwani, what are you trying to pull with this? I'm difficult? Did I ask you to give up your master bedroom? You said it had better light. In the few days I've been here. How many decent meals have you cooked for me? It's all takeout or leftovers. And you had the nerve to be rude yesterday. You think I'm some senile old fool who doesn't notice? Playing the victim in front of family? I haven't even started on you. Is that hovel even fit for humans? You can't turn around without bumping into something. I have nowhere to put my nice clothes and fabrics. They're all crumpled in a suitcase. You just want me out of your hair. You wish I'd leave? Well, dream on. I'm staying right here. Let's see what you're gonna do about it. With that outburst, mother-in-law ripped off the last shred of that polite facade. She aired the family's dirty laundry in front of all the relatives. The group chat went into an absolute frenzy. Peacemakers, the shocked, and the nosy ones digging for dirt. Messages flew. Oh my, why the fighting? Auntie Sholan, calm down, let's talk this through. Wani has it hard too.
Looks like living together really does cause problems. I just watched this whole drama unfold, cool as a cucumber.
My finger swiped across the screen. The timing is just about right. I started typing in the text box, taking my sweet time. First, I posted a screenshot from my personal online banking. It clearly shows the last 36 months. 50k to Wang Sholan monthly, 5th of each month. The latest entry was last month, on the 5th. This month's record is conspicuously absent. I blurred out the recipient's full name and account number. But the name Wang Sholan. The 50k monthly was clear. 1 cent.
I followed up with a line of text. Mother-in-law, Wang Sholan.
Who funded you 3 years? Home, expenses, allowance? Who provided it all? Yesterday you called me, apologizing. Said you couldn't stand eldest son's place, wanted villa. Promised silence. Why now play victim in chat? Claim eldest son can't wait to be rid of you? What's true? Once message pic sent. The entire group went dead silent. It was like a bucket of ice water got dumped on a grease fire. A furious sizzle, then nothing but an eerie, absolute quiet. It took a few seconds for people to start processing it.
Second uncle was giving her 50 grand a month?
Suwan, is this the allowance you've been giving Sholan? Cousin, oh my god. 3 years, 36 months. That's 1.8 million. And that's not even counting the house. Aunt, Sholan. You called Suwan yesterday to apologize? As for mother-in-law Wang Sholan, she went completely radio silent. Probably staring at that ironclad bank transfer history. Stunned and panicking. She probably never dreamed I'd choose this exact moment
to drop this bomb right into the middle of the family chat.
Chenwani didn't say another word either. His carefully crafted, tear-jerking essay suddenly looked pathetic and laughable next to my simple little screenshot. No matter how much he whines about his cramped space and stress, mother-in-law's lavish life was funded by me. By me, the useless second daughter-in-law.
And his charitable offer to take her in now pales in comparison to 600,000 in cold, hard cash every year.
How much sincerity left? After pause,
Lu Mingyuan finally managed to squeeze out a line. Suwan,
family matters should be settled privately.
Airing them in the group is so unseemly. I fired back immediately. Brother Lu Mingyuan.
Money private. Words can't be careless. Mom accused sister-in-law of wanting her gone. Spreading that kind of talk would ruin sister-in-law's reputation. I was just stating the facts for everyone. So no one thinks she's an ungrateful daughter-in-law. There's a big difference between real support and grudging acceptance. Right? The group chat fell dead silent after that. Chenwani's little pity party,
Her attempt to sway the court of public opinion,
was shut down completely by my one screenshot and 2 sentences. It became a public execution for her, my brother-in-law, and mother-in-law. I left the WeChat group and turned off my phone screen. Outside the window, the sky was growing dark. I was the only one left in the studio. It was so quiet, just the faint hiss of the radiator.
That knot of frustration that had been sitting in my chest for days.
I finally let it out. That slap landed with a satisfying crack.
And man, did it feel good.
It wiped the smug look off mother-in-law's face. It smacked the phony, performative mask right off Chenwani's. This isn't over. Mother-in-law won't take this lying down. And Chenwani will be holding a grudge. As for Lu Mingzhi, I'll probably be getting a we need to talk from him any minute now. The older generation in the family might even step in to mediate. I'm not afraid. I've only played one card. I packed up my things, turned off the lights, and left the studio. The cold wind hit my face, making me sharper, more awake. Next, it's time to watch the Lu family's picture-perfect facade. When faced with real stakes and wounded pride, start to show its ugly cracks. The family chat silence didn't last. Next morning, my phone rang. It was father-in-law, Lu Jiangwo. His voice was lower than usual. Deliberately slow. Trying to sound all reasonable and fatherly. Suwan, it's me. He paused, as if searching for the right words. I saw the messages in the family group. Your mother went too far. She doesn't express herself well. And Wani, she's still young. Doesn't handle things tactfully. I waited for the but. And sure enough, his tone shifted. But, Suwon. We're family. What's said at home stays there. Can't we resolve our issues privately? Did you have to air our dirty laundry for all to see? It reflects poorly on the Liu family name. Your mother-in-law is old. Stubborn, but not bad-hearted. And your brother and sister-in-law, their situation is difficult. Can't we all meet in the middle? About the allowance. And the villa, could you perhaps reconsider? Do it for me. For your father. Give my dad some face? I could almost laugh out loud in anger. Back when your wife was publicly humiliating me, did my father-in-law ever defend me? Did he ever give his own daughter-in-law a shred of respect? Now that it involves the Liu family's precious reputation, and his wife and son's actual bottom line. Now he suddenly remembers he's the patriarch. Dad, I said, eerily calm, I don't want trouble. But mom and sister-in-law, one slanders me to family, the other shames me online. One complains I'm difficult to please, the other plays the victim. I'm just stating the facts to keep everyone from being misled. As for meeting halfway, I don't even know where to begin. Mom told everyone I'm not a good daughter-in-law to the Liu family. She said sister-in-law is the best. Fine, I respect her choice. Let her go live with the daughter-in-law she approves of so much. What's wrong with that? Do I have to keep paying and slaving away? For this to count as family? For it to count as filial piety? That's a face I can't give. And the Liu family's reputation isn't something a single screenshot of a bank transfer can ruin. Who's being unreasonable? Who's twisting the truth? The relatives have eyes. They can see for themselves. Liu Jiangwo was left speechless by my cold, logical rebuttal. He was completely stumped. It took him a long moment before he let out a heavy sigh. His tone turned displeased and resigned. Suwon, when did you become so confrontational? You're leaving no room at all. Can't you understand our elders' difficulties? Your mother and brother fight daily. How is that living? That's their problem. It's for them to work out, I shot back, refusing to yield an inch. Like when mom lived in my villa on my money. And bad-mouthing me everywhere she went. No one seemed concerned about how I was supposed to live. Dad, if there's nothing else, I have to go. My studio is busy. Without waiting for another word, I ended the call. The last shred of hesitation I'd felt, that lingering deference because he was an elder, evaporated completely after that conversation. They've always been a united front, protecting the Liu family's precious face and interests. And I've always been the expendable one. The one expected to be the understanding one. Father-in-law's call was like a starting pistol. That afternoon, Liu Mingzhi's uncle, Liu Jianya, phoned me as well. This uncle carries some weight in the family. He held a minor official post years ago and loves putting on airs. Auntie Suwon, my dear niece-in-law. He always starts with this slightly distant, overly polite tone. Your father-in-law has already spoken to you, I assume? Oh, this family drama has become such a public spectacle. It's unseemly, truly unseemly. I've heard all about it. Your mother-in-law was wrong. But haven't you also acted a bit rashly? After all, she is your elder, the one who raised Mingzhi. If nothing else, she put in the hard work, didn't she? Your mother-in-law can't stay there. She's unhappy, and Mingzhi is troubled by all this. Couldn't you take a step back? Let her move back. As for the allowance, we can discuss reducing the amount, or have Mingzhi cover part of it. Family harmony is precious. I listened to him finish his whole sweep it under the rug speech. Then, I finally spoke, calmly. You're right, uncle. Harmony needs mutual respect. Mom called me loose in front of everyone. Did she show me any respect? She took my money, lived in my villa. Then praised another daughter-in-law. Did she respect my contributions? Now, I'm merely respecting her choice. Letting her live with the daughter-in-law she thinks is best. How does that make me the wrong one? The rash one? I paused. my tone turning icy. As for the villa, that is my premarital asset, bought and paid for by Suwon. I have every right to decide what happens to it. I let her live there because I wanted to. I don't want to anymore. Taking it back is my absolute right. The same goes for the allowance. I used to give it willingly, out of consideration for her being Mingjer's mother. But she tore that consideration to shreds with her own hands. I have zero obligation to keep supporting her. Mingjer is her son. How much he wants to give her is his filial duty. I won't interfere. I won't pay or hand over property again. Lu Jianya clearly didn't expect me to be this unyielding and counter his respect your elders arguments. Family harmony arguments. He was left speechless. He could only stammer awkwardly, well, you young people's affairs, I can't quite figure them out. But you're putting Mingjer in a very difficult position like this. Uncle, I said finally. If Mingjer finds it difficult, he should ask his mother why she did things to humiliate me and said words that cut me so deep. Instead of demanding that I, the victim, continue to sacrifice myself just to make their lives easier. Sorry, but no. I have another meeting, gotta go. Hangs up on Uncle. I know. This little family intervention charade is about to reach its peak. It's time for the curtain to fall. In less than an hour. Lu Mingjer's call came through. His voice sounded weary and heavy. Suwon, Uncle just called me. Dad reached out too. The elders in the family want to have dinner together tonight. Sit down and talk it out. Clear the air. Consider it a family meeting. We've set the location at Grandpa's old mansion. It's quiet there. Do you think you can come? A family meeting. I can almost picture exactly what kind of scene it will be. Nothing more than the elders taking turns, using filial piety and family harmony to pressure me. Their goal is to make me take it all back. Fine. I agreed readily. Send me the time and place. I'll be there on time. Lu Mingjer seemed taken aback for a moment. Probably didn't expect me to agree so easily. Suwon, you and I cut him off. My voice was clear and cold. But some things, this needs to be said clearly, once and for all. To avoid any misunderstandings in the future. 7 p.m. I arrived at the Lu family mansion right on time. This was the house left by Lu Mingjer's grandfather. Located in a courtyard in the old district, usually empty. Only used when the family has important matters to discuss. In the living room were father-in-law Lu and mother-in-law Wang. Uncle Lu Jianya, Lu Mingjer, Lu Mingyuan, and Chen Wani. Mother-in-law's face was sour, her eyelids slightly puffy. She turned away with a loud, disdainful huff. Chen Wani sat with her eyes downcast beside Lu Mingyuan, her fingers nervously twisting together. Lu Mingyuan looked awkward. Lu Mingjer glanced at me, his expression complicated. Father-in-law and uncle wore stern, serious faces. The tension was thick. Everyone's here? Then let's sit down and talk. Uncle Lu Jianya, as the one who called the meeting, cleared his throat and spoke first, trying to take control. We're all gathered here today to resolve the family's conflicts. Family harmony leads to prosperity. Look at this mess. Suwon, your mother-in-law, she is an elder. She speaks bluntly, but her heart's in the right place. You should be more understanding. You cut the allowance. Made your mother-in-law move out of the villa. This doesn't look good for your reputation either. So, how about we both take a step back? You reinstate your mother's allowance. And let her move back into the villa for now. Your mother apologizes and will watch her words. Let's put this behind us. Everyone's staring. Mother-in-law pretends not to listen, but she's all ears. Lu Mingjer's lips twitch. But he stays silent. I put down my bag. And take out a light gray folder from inside. I place it on the coffee table in front of me, slowly, deliberately. Then I lift my head. My gaze sweeps calmly over everyone in the room, finally landing on Uncle Lu Jianya's face. You're right, Uncle. Family harmony is the foundation of prosperity. Harmony requires mutual respect and equal rights. Not on one side endlessly taking, and the other endlessly enduring. My voice is unnervingly clear in the quiet living room. Before you ask me to take a step back. First, let's get some things clear. I open the folder. I take out the documents and lay them on the table. First, a copy of the deed for the lakeside villa. Owner, Suwon. The registration date shows. It was before Luminger and I were married. This is the proof of ownership. My premarital asset. Mine. Second, a printed copy of the bank transfer records. More detailed versions of what I posted in the group chat. This is a record of the monthly allowance, from my personal account. Suwon's account, 50,000 monthly for years, totaling 1.8 million. This was an expense from my personal income. It has nothing to do with Luminger or the Lu family. Third, my contracts and payments for agencies, a nutritionist, and a private physician. Records for villa cleaning, gardening, and maintenance. And the exclusive nutritionist for mother-in-law, along with the private doctor's home visits over the past few years. Proof of payment for everything, all paid by me. I look up. I meet my mother-in-law's furious, humiliated gaze. I glance at the others, shocked and uncomfortable. I speak slowly, deliberately. Since marrying into the Lu family, I, Suwon, have never been stingy with the elders financially. I've provided the most comfortable living conditions I possibly could. I don't expect groveling gratitude. But I do expect, at the very least, basic respect. But my tone remains steady, yet it carries an undeniable force. What have I received in return for all this? Being publicly degraded, called useless, told I'm good for nothing, but with an undeniable force. What did I get in return? Public humiliation, being called useless. I was just a stepping stone to make others look good. My efforts were taken for granted. Even treated as something to be trampled on at will. I turned my gaze to mother-in-law. You told everyone Chunwani was the best daughter-in-law. Then go live with your perfect daughter-in-law. Is that wrong? You live in my house, spend my money. Yet you badmouth me everywhere. Now I'm just taking back what's mine. Is that wrong? I then looked at Lu Mingyuan and Chunwani. Big brother, big sister-in-law. Mom adores you, she approves of you. Now she gets to live with you, share the family bliss. Shouldn't you be thrilled? Why complain in the group chat that she's hard to please? Mom's allowance came from me. The villa was bought by me. Now that it's gone, suddenly she's a burden? So tell me, this filial piety of yours, is it for her, or for the benefits she represented? Finally, I fixed my eyes on Luminger's face. He was pale, avoiding my gaze. Luminger, you are your mother's son. Be filial if you want. Your money, give as you please. How you want to take care of your mom, that's your business. But using my money for the Lu family's bottomless pit? And expect me to endure disrespect? I'm not playing anymore. I picked up the final document. It was a copy of the marital property agreement. This is Luminger and my signed agreement. It clearly states the premarital assets. The villa is mine. No one gets to lay a finger on it. From now on, Mom's allowance is the responsibility of her two sons. As for me, starting today, aside from the legal in-law connection to the Lu family, there is nothing else. I won't spend another cent. And I won't let anyone else live in my house. If you find this unacceptable, or try to force me in any way, I paused. My gaze icy as it swept over each of them. I'll get my lawyer or go public with the evidence. Including the recording from last night's dinner. Let's see where public opinion and the law truly stand. With that, I neatly put the documents back and zipped up the folder. My movements were calm, deliberate. The living room was dead silent. Only the faint sound of wind from outside. And mother-in-law's heavy, agitated breathing. Father-in-law, Lu Jiangwo's face was dark as thunder. Second uncle, Lu Jianya, opened his mouth to speak. But it ended in a long sigh. Lu Mingyuan and Chunwani hung their heads low, wishing they could just disappear into the floor. Lu Mingzher's hands were clenched into fists on his knees. His knuckles white. Mother-in-law Wang Xiaolan shot to her feet, pointing a trembling finger at me. You recorded it? Suwon, you vicious witch. You planned this all along, didn't you? Enough. Father-in-law Lu Jiangwo slammed the table.
His voice was sharp, cutting. Haven't you humiliated us enough?
Sit down. The old lady flinched at his bark, staring at her husband in disbelief. Finally, she slumped back into her chair, defeated. Covering her face, she let out a choked sob. I stood up, picked up my bag. If there's nothing else, I'm leaving. You all go on, without me. I left the mansion. The moment the heavy wooden door shut behind me, faintly, mother-in-law's sharp, tearful shriek broke through. A sharp, tearful shriek. And Luminger's low, placating murmurs. And eldest uncle's weary scolding. It didn't matter anymore. The winter night wind was still biting. But as I walked the quiet, old town streets, I felt strangely light. The cards were on the table. From now on, the Liu family is the Liu family, and I am me. That rope they tried to tie me with, to leech and call me dirty, I finally cut it myself.
For 3 whole days after that family meeting,
My world was blissfully quiet. My phone was silent. No calls, no texts from anyone in the Liu family. Even the Liu family group chat had gone completely dead. No one dared to speak. I knew. That stack of documents, those merciless words of mine. It was like a bucket of ice water, drenching them all to the bone. It had shut them up, for now. But I knew better. This peace was only surface deep. Something was festering in the dark. It would only turn more bitter. On the 4th afternoon, the sky was gloomy, threatening snow. I had to meet with the interior designer for a final walkthrough of the villa's details. So I drove out to the lakeside. From a distance, I spotted a familiar figure, huddled in a faded, dark red down jacket, pacing before the ornate gates of my villa, stamping her feet, blowing into her cupped hands for warmth. It was mother-in-law, Wang Sholan. No fancy outfits this time. Her hair was a mess, blown against her cheeks by the wind. Her face was pale, frozen white. That thin, out-of-season jacket made her look shrunken and pathetic. A far cry from the woman I remembered, lounging around the villa in her silk robes, barking orders at the help, and holding court in front of the relatives. I was staring at a stranger. My car stopped at the gate. She looked up, startled like a bird, and when she saw it was me, her dull eyes instantly lit up with a desperate, pitiful, and fawning gleam. She scurried over to the car window. I rolled the window down but didn't unlock the gate. The icy, damp wind from the lake rushed in. 1101, you're finally back. Mother-in-law clutched the window frame. Her voice trembled from the cold and her own agitation. The wrinkles on her face were all scrunched up, as she tried her hardest to put on a look of kindly remorse. I've been waiting forever, honey. It's freezing out here. Just open the gate and let me in, won't you? We can talk inside. I have heartfelt things to say. I just looked at her. Say it here, mother-in-law, I said flatly. The place is a mess for renovations. Nowhere to sit. Her face stiffened. She clearly hadn't expected me to shut her out so directly. She instinctively glanced back at the imposing, yet cold and tightly shut villa. She turned back, eyes welling up, voice turning weepy. Juan, I know I was wrong. I truly know I was wrong. That day, I was a foolish old woman talking nonsense. I'm apologizing to you. I'll even get down on my knees for you. She made a show of starting to kneel, moving slowly. And her eyes kept darting to me, clearly waiting for me to stop her. I didn't stop her. I just watched, quietly. Her knees froze, bent halfway, stuck in a pathetic pose. The forced tears she'd managed to squeeze out seemed stuck there too. No need for that, mother-in-law. I broke the awkward silence. You're not as young as you used to be. The ground is cold. Just say what you came to say.
She straightened up awkwardly, rubbing her hands, red from the cold.
This time, the pleading in her voice was more genuine. Juan, I just can't live with your brother and his wife anymore. That apartment is so tiny, you can barely turn around in it. Wani, she acts polite on the surface, but I can see it. She thinks I'm in the way. Rushes me, complains. Her food doesn't suit me. My heart is so heavy. As she spoke, a few real tears actually fell. whether from cold or misery. It's only been a few days, and I've already realized, you're the good one. You're the one who truly cares for me. I was foolish. I turned my back on luxury, chasing after. She caught herself, as if remembering something, and quickly stopped. She leaned in, pressing her face against the window. Lowering to a groveling whisper, she said, Wan, sweetheart, it was all Mom's fault before. You're the bigger person, don't hold it against your old mother. Look, the new year's almost here, and it's freezing out. Can't bear seeing your mom homeless in the cold? Just let Mom come home, please? I promise I'll treat you like my own daughter from now on. Whatever you say. I won't even ask for allowance. Just give me enough for food, that's all I need. Have a little pity on your old mother, won't you? The icy wind tousled her graying hair even more. A few strands stuck to her damp eyes as she looked up at me. Her gaze was pleading, desperate. Gone was the bitterness, replaced by sheer wretchedness. She did look a bit pathetic. The old Suwon might have actually softened. After all, here was a woman in her 60s. Humbling herself, begging in the cold. But the me now? Looking at her like this? I felt nothing. Not a ripple. Honestly, I almost wanted to laugh. How much of these tears, this repentance, is real remorse? How much is just her being sick of the hardship there? How much is her missing her old, cushy, spoiled life? Mom, I started, my voice cutting through the cold, clear and calm. You say I'm the good one now. But you told everyone sister-in-law was the best. Did you really mean that? Mother-in-law froze. Her eyes darted. No, of course not. That wasn't my real feeling. I was just angry. Confused. I was confused. Wan, you have to believe me. In my heart, I've always thought you were the best, the most filial. 1,000 times better than Wani. I raised a brow slightly. So if I let you come back now, keep giving you the allowance, the big house, after a while, would you think sister-in-law is sweeter again? And then, at some party, call me trashy and useless all over again? No. Absolutely not. She shrieked, panicked. I swear on my life. May I be struck by lightning. Wan, please, just believe me this once. This time I truly know I was wrong. I'll change, I promise. I'll be good to you. I watched her. Her body trembling slightly from the cold and her outburst. I saw the raw, desperate urgency in her eyes. An urgency, of course, solely for getting back her comfortable life. The last bit of obligation I felt, just because she was an elder, completely evaporated. Mom, I said, meeting her gaze directly. I don't dare believe your words anymore. Today, to get back in, you'll say I'm the best. Tomorrow, for something else, you'll say I'm the worst. Hearts are made of flesh, but they can grow cold and hard. Mine has been frozen solid by the things you've said. The color drained from mother-in-law's face, leaving it ghostly pale. Her mouth hung open, speechless. She just stared at me in utter disbelief. She saw me anew, then I shifted gears. Just as a flicker of desperate hope reignited in her eyes. Since you sincerely call me the best, I'm not completely heartless. Here's the deal. Say it loud, 20 times, right here. I was wrong. Suwon is the best. You say it 20 times. I might forgive today's disruption. Mother-in-law froze, her eyes wide as saucers. She couldn't comprehend. A woman of her standing. To stand outside her daughter-in-law's locked door, repeating a humiliating phrase like a naughty schoolchild. It was a slap in the face, but somehow even more degrading. Why you? She trembled, finger shaking. Suwon. You're going too far. I am your mother-in-law. I am your elder. How dare you humiliate me? Humiliate you? I let out a cold, short laugh. The sound was brittle in the icy wind. Mom. When you humiliated me in front of all those people, did you ever stop to think I was your daughter-in-law? All I'm asking is for you to personally confirm, out loud. The pretty words you just said. How is that humiliation? Or was all that good and best talk wasn't actually sincere? Just a trick to get back inside and resume your comfortable life? She was speechless, her face turning a mottled, purplish red. Her chest heaved. The bitter wind howled, whipping her thin clothes against her frail body, making her pathetic. She saw my cold face, then at the imposing, tightly shut door behind me, the symbol of the lavish life she once had. Then she thought of the cramped little apartment at her son's place, and Chenwani's increasingly thinly veiled looks of disdain, struggle, fury, shame, craving, dread. All these emotions warred across her face. The seconds ticked by. The sky grew even darker. Tiny flakes of snow began to drift down. Finally, as if all the fight had been sucked out of her, her shoulders slumped, head bowed, then looked up. Her face held only a numb, defeated exhaustion. Avoiding my gaze, she turned toward the cold, ornate iron door. Her lips quivered. With immense effort, in a voice so faint it was almost inaudible, she forced out the words, "I was wrong. Suwon is the best." The wind snatched the whisper away. "Can't hear you," I said flatly, unmoving. Louder. "I need to hear it. Everyone passing by needs to hear it. How else is it sincere?" Mother-in-law's eyes shut tight. Two streams of murky tears rolled down, mingling with her tears, blood or otherwise. She took a deep breath, so deep and long, as if using all the strength in her body. Then, in a voice nearly a scream, laced with sobs and immense shame, she shouted at the iron gate, "I was wrong. Suwon is the best." Louder. "Keep going." I rolled up the window, leaving only a crack. My voice came through the gap. Not loud, but carrying undeniable pressure. "I was wrong. Suwon is the best." Once, then again. Amid the thickening sleet, on the empty road of the villa district, an aged and wretched voice repeated this phrase, dripping with sarcasm and submission. A passing car slowed down. Someone inside seemed to peer out curiously. Mother-in-law trembled like a leaf in the wind. Each repetition seemed to drain her completely. Her face went from deathly pale to flushed, then to an ashen gray. The 19th time. "I was wrong. Suwon is the best." The 20th time. "I was wrong. Suwon is the best." As the last word of the 20th time was painfully forced out, and the sound faded, she seemed to have her spine ripped out. Her whole body went limp. If she hadn't grabbed the cold iron gate bars in time, she would have collapsed to her knees. She gasped for air. Tears and snot smeared across her face. She looked pitiful in the cold wind. I got out of the car. I stopped a few steps away from her. Sleet landed on her hair and shoulders, melting quickly, leaving dark, wet stains. I pulled a thin red envelope from my coat pocket. It was something I'd left in the car earlier. A small token of luck for the decorators. Not much money inside. A few hundred. I placed it gently on the frozen ground. Not too far, not too close to her feet. "Mum." Her head jerked up at my voice, her eyes a mix of shock and a sliver of unbelievable hope. My voice was calm, flat. "Take this for a cab home. Or get something hot to eat. It's cold, don't freeze." Under her dazed stare, I turned, opened the car door, got in, and started the engine. It rumbled low. "As for coming back here." I looked at her one last time through the window. That look held no warmth whatsoever. "You should go to your precious, best daughter-in-law. My place is too small for a fickle deity like you." I finished, ignoring her face, which had instantly turned paper white. His face, a portrait of utter despair. And that broken sob, swallowed by the howling wind and snow. I drove away from his gilded cage. And now has nothing to do with him. In the rearview mirror, that tiny figure huddled outside the iron gate, trembling over a thin, pathetic red envelope on the ground, grew smaller and smaller, fading, blurring into the swirling curtain of snow. The days after returning from the lakeside villa, the snow fell on and off, draping the city in a thin, icy coat of silver. The house was unnervingly quiet. Even Muma walked on tiptoes. Lu Mingzhi still left early and came back late. Sometimes he didn't come home at all. We were like strangers living under the same roof. A thick, invisible wall of ice standing between us. I knew he was avoiding me. Weighing his options. The family pressure, his mother's weeping, his brother's financial mess. I left the documents and ultimatum behind. It was enough to make anyone's head spin. What was he waiting for? For me to soften? For the elders to force my hand? Or for me to just break? Well, he'll be waiting forever. Then, on the night before Lunar New Year's Eve, a little past 10 p.m., just as I was getting ready for bed, the beep of the fingerprint lock echoed from downstairs, followed by heavy footsteps. A moment later, a soft knock on the master bedroom door. Suwon, are you asleep? It was Lu Mingzhi's voice. Tired, and deliberately hushed. Not yet. I put my book down, leaning against the headboard. Come in, it's open. Lu Mingzhi entered. He hadn't changed. Still in his day suit. Just without the jacket. His hair was disheveled, his face sallow, dark circles under his eyes. He looked worn down. Like life had chewed him up and spit him out. He stood by the door. Not coming over to sit like he usually would. His eyes were complicated. Struggle. Resignation. Even a hint of a plea. We need to talk. His voice was hoarse. Talk about what? My tone was flat. If it's about your mother, or the villa allowance. I think I made myself perfectly clear at the family mansion. Lu Mingzhi's throat bobbed. He walked slowly to the armchair by the bed and sat down. Hands clasped on his knees, fingers gripping tight. Suwon, I know my mother went too far this time. She broke your heart. And I failed you. I didn't stand up for you when it mattered. He paused, searching for words, his voice dropping even lower. She's called me crying, full of regret. She wants to return to you and brother. Look, I know it's been chaos, and I know you've been wronged. But keeping up this standoff isn't good for anyone. Mom's getting old. Her health is poor. What if something happens? My gaze fixed directly on her. Lu Mingzhi, in all these years of marriage. When your mother undermined me, saying awful things. You never knew what to do. When he was living off my money, in my house. And spreading lies about me to everyone outside. You never knew what to do. He humiliated me in front of the whole family. You still never knew what to do. You were always stuck in the middle. Always helpless. And then you just quietly expect me to be the reasonable one, to swallow it all and solve the problem for you. My voice wasn't loud, but every word was crystal clear. Like shattering ice. I won't swallow it anymore. I'm not backing down. That problem has come right back around to you. Finally feeling the pinch, are you? Finally feeling the squeeze? Lu Mingzhi went pale at my words. He lowered his head, face in his hands. Yeah, I was useless. I always thought, we're family. Mom's old, just let her have her say. No need to make a big deal. I ignored how it made you feel. Suwon, I'm sorry. This apology is way too late. And it feels so hollow, doesn't it? Completely weightless. I accept your apology, I said flatly. But this isn't over. Lu Mingzhi looked up. A flicker of confused hope in his eyes. Then what do you want? Something simple. I reached into the drawer. And pulled out a document I'd prepared long ago. Not the copy I showed at the family mansion that day. But a fresh, clearly printed draft agreement. I handed him a household financial agreement. And living arrangements. Read it. Lu Mingzhi took it. He was puzzled. The terms were few but explicit. 1. From the date this agreement is signed. Household refers solely to the married couple Lu Mingzhi and Suwon. All major expenditure and investment decisions belong to Suwon. Lu Mingzhi must link his primary personal income account number specified, to Suwon's account, or establish a joint account under co-management. Any personal expenditure over 5,000 yuan per month requires Suwon's prior knowledge and approval. 2. The lakeside villa is Suwon's personal premarital asset. Its disposition, rental, or occupancy arrangements are solely at Suwon's discretion. Lu Mingjie and his immediate family, specifically his parents, brother, and sister-in-law, no interfering with residency rights. Third, Wang Xiulan, Lu Mingjie's mother, is strictly forbidden from cohabiting long-term with Suwon and Lu Mingjie in any capacity. Lu Mingjie's financial obligations to support his mother must be borne by him alone. All related expenses must be paid from his personal account. He may not use any joint marital assets or Suwon's personal property. If Ms. Wang Xiulan wishes to visit for a short period, she must obtain Suwon's prior consent and agree to a fixed duration. Fourth, violation of any of the above terms grants Suwon the immediate right to initiate divorce proceedings and pursue all legal rights and remedies as per this agreement. Lu Mingjie finished reading, his fingers trembling slightly. He looked up, his eyes filled with shock and a sense of insulted fury. Suwon, what is the meaning of this? You want to control me like a prisoner? And banish my mother from our lives forever? Are you trying to tear this family apart completely? Tear it apart? I let out a cold laugh. Lu Mingjie. This family started rotting from the inside out. Since your mother started her endless drama and you enabled it. All I'm doing is taking the cracks that already exist, drawing a clear line around them, and setting rules to stop them from getting worse or letting me be the victim again. Finances? I was already managing them. Household expenses, mother's allowance, villa upkeep. Even the holes in your business ventures, my money filled them all. I'm just formalizing it. So you, and everyone in the Lu family, can see clearly who's really holding this family together. Keep your personal and filial piety spending. But major financial decisions go through me. That's my bottom line. And my security for the future. Second, the villa is mine. Keeping your mother from ever living there again, is that wrong? Should I really let someone who humiliates me to my face and badmouths me behind my back keep living in my house, to keep torturing myself? No long-term cohabitation with your mother. That's for the sake of what little peace our own small family might still salvage. Want to be a dutiful son? Rent her an apartment. Hire her a maid. Pay for her needs. Use your own money. I won't stop you. But let her waltz back in and reign like a queen? Over my dead body. I stare at him, my gaze sharp as a blade. Lu Mingjie, these are my terms. I'm not negotiating with you. I'm informing you. If you want to save this marriage, if there's any hope for us, you'll sign it. This is my final offer. My one and only condition. The only chance. Lu Mingjie's chest heaved violently. He held that flimsy agreement like it was a red-hot branding iron. His lips trembled, words dying before they could form. His expression flickered between rage, humiliation, struggle, and the grim acceptance of a cold, hard truth. Of course he felt humiliated. A man, forced by his wife to hand over the family finances? Told his own mother can't live under his roof? It was a double blow to his pride and his so-called filial duty. Not signing? He knew divorce was worse. Given our situation, and with the evidence I've got stacked against him, recordings, bank transfers, our prenup, he'd get cleaned out in the settlement. He'd lose more than gain. News of the Lu heir divorcing right before the holidays? The scandal would wreck the family reputation his father and uncle care so much about. It'd be a devastating blow. Then there's his mom. Without my money propping her up, with his and his brother's finances in the state they're in, what kind of golden years could they really give her? Reality washed over him like ice water, dousing the last flicker of his stubborn pride. The angry silence stretched on, until the snow outside seemed to fall harder, tapping relentlessly against the window pane. Finally, with agonizing slowness, Lu Mingjie gave a heavy, defeated nod. The simple motion seemed to drain him completely. Fine, he rasped, not meeting my eyes. I took a pen from the drawer and handed it to him. His hand still shook slightly as he took it. He flipped to the last page, to the line for his signature. His name was already printed there. He hovered the pen over it, frozen for several long seconds. Then, as if forcing a final decision, he pressed down and signed his name in stiff, deliberate strokes. The writing was shaky but legible. He dropped the pen. He slumped back into the couch, utterly spent, staring blankly at the ceiling. I took the agreement, checked the signature, then filed it away in the drawer. That cold, heavy stone that had been lodged in my heart for so long finally dropped with a dull thud. No joy. No sorrow. Just the bone-deep weariness of a battle finally over. A cold, hard sense of regained control. The cold, solid feeling of finally having control back in my own hands. Before the new year, I'll have the lawyer draft the formal version. We'll sign it and get it notarized. I stated it calmly, as if discussing a task that had nothing to do with me. Also, the renovation plans for the villa are finalized. We start after New Year. We'll spend it here. As for how you handle your mother's arrangements, that's for you and your brother to figure out. Luminger didn't answer. He just closed his eyes. For a long time. Finally, a barely audible was squeezed from his throat. I turned off my bedside lamp, lay down, and pulled up the covers. The room fell into darkness. Only a faint, blurry glow from the snow outside the window seeped in. The sound of Luminger getting up beside me, dragging his heavy footsteps toward the bathroom, reached my ears. Soon, the sound of running water started. I knew from this moment on, many things were different. The marital bond? Perhaps only a thin, icy facade remained. But the underlying power dynamic, the emotional connection, had undergone a fundamental, irreversible shift. Mother-in-law Wang Xiulan, by her own hand and her son's compromise, and her son's ultimate compromise after weighing the pros and cons, was now completely shut out of my life. And Luminger, under family pressure and practical considerations, chose temporary surrender, handing over a portion of his authority, in exchange for surface peace and potential financial gain. As for me, I traded the humiliation of a Christmas dinner for complete clarity of mind and absolute control over my future life. There were no winners in this war. But at least I was no longer the passive punching bag, the loser silently bleeding out. The snow outside continued to fall quietly, covering all traces of the past, heralding a cold, brand new beginning. The agreement was signed. The year's end drew near. The atmosphere at home remained cold, but that suffocating tension had vanished. Luminger became abnormally silent. Aside from necessary work discussions, he almost never initiated conversation with me. He transferred the income into the joint account on time. Into the joint account. And stopped questioning any household expenses, like a machine executing commands. I knew he was seething inside, feeling humiliated. But I didn't care. A black and white agreement and undeniable bank records were far more reliable than any empty promise or fickle mood. On the 28th day of the 12th lunar month, the contractor called, sounding giddy. Ms. Su, the hardscaping for the villa is completely finished. The vision you wanted? It's all there. That panoramic living room, open kitchen. Stunning. Cleaned thrice. Ready for walkthrough. When? I'll head over this afternoon. Hangs up the phone. A long-forgotten, pure sense of pleasure stirred inside me. It wasn't just excitement for a new house. It felt more like a ritual. A ceremony to bury the past, start anew. That afternoon, I drove to the lakeside alone. Sunlight glittered on the lake's thin ice, like scattered diamonds. The villa unchanged, just thoroughly power-washed, so the walls and glass looked brand new. I unlocked the new smart lock. With a cheerful chime, the heavy solid wood door slid open automatically. A fresh scent, a mix of wood, paint, and sunshine, rushed out to greet me. What greeted me was a world utterly transformed. All those heavy, ornate European-style coffered ceilings, gaudy crystal chandeliers, deep crimson velvet drapes, the massive display cabinet that took up an entire wall, and all the tacky knickknacks crammed inside it, all gone. Replaced by clean, flat ceilings, recessed ambient lighting casting a soft, even glow, and floor-to-ceiling glass doors and windows. framing the serene wintry lake like a painting. The walls were a warm, pale taupe. Wide plank, light oak floors stretched out underfoot. The furniture lines were clean and fluid. The palette was all creams, light grays, and natural wood tones. With just a few accents, a single armchair, some throw pillows, in muted slate blue and burnt sienna. Just the right amount of life. I walked in slowly. My fingers traced the marble kitchen countertop. I traced the grain of the wood in the custom-built bookshelves. I pushed open the glass door to the balcony, letting the crisp, cold air rush in. There was not a single trace of Wang Xiaolan left here. None of her gaudy little trinkets. None of the useless junk she hoarded. Not even the air held a hint of that overpowering, cheap perfume she always wore. Every single inch of this space was mine alone. Suwan. It was the openness I loved. The clean simplicity I adored. That feeling of being able to finally breathe freely. I stood in the middle of the vast, sunlit living room, looking around. I took a deep, deep breath, and let it out slowly. The last bit of heaviness in my chest, the residue from the past. It felt like it was washed clean away with that one exhale. Walk through perfect. Thrilled. Paid final invoice. Soft furnishings to be added after New Year. I left. On the way back, I opened the group chat with my high society girlfriends. Posted a message, the lakeside villa got a total glow up. Hard remodel is done. Housewarming party on the 6th, girls only. Top shelf drinks, no outsiders. The chat instantly blew up with "I'm in." Zhoumin, gotta be there to celebrate Sue's new place. Li Wei, honored to be invited. Can't wait. Finally get to see the home of your dreams. Zhao Qian, I'm bringing 2 bottles of the good stuff to toast Suwan's rebirth. Watching the enthusiastic replies flood the screen, I smiled. This is what life should be like. New Year's Eve. Lu Mingzhi and I were in the city apartment, sharing an unnervingly quiet reunion dinner. Wu Ma prepared the food, a lavish spread. But the words exchanged between us didn't even hit double digits. Fireworks lit the sky outside, making the silence inside feel even heavier. We were like 2 strangers forced to share a table, maintaining the bare minimum of politeness. Through a meal that was supposed to symbolize family, I knew Lu Mingzhi was in a foul mood. Probably worrying about how his mother was spending the holiday. Sure enough, just before midnight, his phone rang. He went out to the balcony and talked in hushed tones for a long time. Came back looking even more grim. My guess? On the other end of that call was either his mother, crying alone in that shabby little rental on New Year's, or his sister Lu Mingyuan and her husband. Their holiday vibe ruined by the extra burden they took in. But I didn't ask. That's his problem, not mine. As the New Year countdown began, I poured myself a glass of red wine. Standing by the window, facing the brilliant but fleeting fireworks, I raised a silent toast. To the end of past humiliations. To my freedom. A clear dawn. The lakeside villa was warm, flooded with sunlight. I'd hired a trusted private chef team. The long table was laden with exquisite cold cuts, seafood, grilled meats, and beautiful desserts. Open bar, windows overlooking the frozen lake, glittered in the sun like a giant sheet of crystal. Zhoumin, Li Wei, Zhao Qian, and 3 or 4 other close, trusted girlfriends all showed up. The moment they stepped in, they gasped in awe. Tossing their gifts and coats aside, they flitted through the rooms like excited birds. Oh my god, Suwan, this view is insane. I'm obsessed with this kitchen. This is our new girls' night spot. The style is perfect. So elegant yet so livable. Far better than your mother-in-law's tacky taste. No men, no elders. No one from the Lu family to tiptoe around. Just fine wine, good food, and a beautiful view. My real friends who truly understand me, we raise our glasses. Lounging in the comfy sofa, or sitting on the sun-drenched window ledge. Talking about nothing and everything. Sharing new shows, new bags, funny stories. And mercilessly dishing the dirt. Venting about the absolute chaos in our own lives. Zhoumin clinks her glass against mine. Her eyes light up. Oh, right. Hot gossip, fresh from my mom. Your precious best sister-in-law, Chenwani? She fought in her homeowner's chat before New Year. I raise an eyebrow, intrigued. Reported for cluttering the hallway with junk. She didn't take it well. Went passive-aggressive, told people to mind their own business. Made excuses about elderly family. A neighbor clapped back, saying if there are elders, fire safety is even more important. Said don't treat common areas as personal storage. Tacky. She was so mad she hasn't posted in the group for days. Zhoumin is practically glowing with glee as she tells the story. Zhao Qian leans in, adding, and that's not all. My aunt knows someone. From your mother-in-law Wang Shoulan's old circle of lady friends. Word is, your ex-mother-in-law rents a shabby old apartment. Her sons visited but didn't stay. Seen once at the market. Said she's aged a decade, dressed like a nobody. All that sparkle from showing off jewelry? Gone. She just bought some cheap vegetables and scurried off. Didn't even have the nerve to stop and chat. I was too embarrassed to chat much. Li Wei lets out a soft sigh. She looks at me, Suwan, you feel no pity for them? I swirl the amber liquid in my glass, gazing at the ice rink glittering in the sun outside the window. After a long moment, a faint smile touches my lips. Sorry for them? I used all my sympathy when they publicly crushed my dignity. The path was of their own choosing. The words were their own. The life they're living now is simply the price they have to pay for those choices. I'm no saint. I won't keep paying for others' mistakes. And I have zero interest in ever experiencing again that feeling of giving all, only to have it thrown back as dirt. Looking at these true friends before me, the ones who gave me warmth and support when I was at my lowest, my smile becomes bright and genuine. The old me was always trying to keep the peace, swallowing my pride. And what did it get me? I lost my own happiness and dignity. I only look out for myself now. This house, this sunlight, this air I can finally breathe freely. And all of you. This is the big picture I should be treasuring. Let me raise my voice a little. A toast. To living the rest of our lives exactly as we please. Cheers to the new beginning. Our glasses, like a queen's crystal, clink together, making the most beautiful sound. It reflects the genuinely happy smiles on every face here. And the sunlight filling the room, and the endless lake view outside. Laughter, conversation, music. Echoing through this spacious, brand new space. It's warm and full of life. There are no more cutting put-downs here. No fake social niceties. No suffocating control. Only Suwon's complete and utter freedom. And the steady, solid happiness of being in charge of her own life. Whether mother-in-law is living it up at the eldest son's place. How that husband of mine is swallowing his humiliation in silence. What those Liu family relatives are gossiping about over tea. All of that. Like distant ice cracking on a lake. A faint murmur, not touching my solid world. A new year, a new sky. Freedom reigns. The wine is bitter, then sweet. This feeling is good. Another story ends. I wonder if it made you think of your own chapter in the story of family? Whether right now you're feeling a sense of connection, relief, or maybe just a little bit left wanting more. The 13th month post office hopes it brought you a little bit of warmth and light. Our mailbox is always open. If you have a story or a worry you'd like to share, don't forget to leave it for us in the comments. Every single word from you is our most precious piece of mail. And of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And tap the little bell next to it. That way, you won't miss a single heartfelt story. Mailed straight from the 13th month, just for you. Finally, I'd really love to hear your thoughts. In today's letter, what part did you like the most? Was it the moment mother-in-law finally understood? Or the wife's brilliantly gentle comeback? Tell me your answer. I'm your postal pal. And I'll see you in the next letter. Sweet dreams.